Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to talk about the NFC North and the predictions for the over-under. Starting off with the Green Bay Packers with the over-under of 7.5. Now, the Packers are the youngest team in the NFL with the average age at 25 years old, which doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing, but that's tough when you have the youngest team in the NFL. And Jordan Love has been able to sit under Aaron Rodgers, and it's really going to come down to how he plays. But even if Jordan Love plays well, we still have to see how the rest of the team does. His wide receiving core last year struggled with an MVP type caliber quarterback, so it's going to be interesting to see on how they do with this first year starting quarterback. And one thing to think about here is Aaron Rodgers, when he came in and played with the Packers his first year, they went 6-10. So are we going to say that Jordan Love is going to potentially do a high record than Aaron Rodgers did his first year with the Green Bay Packers? Now, I still think the Packers will do well, and I think they have a promising future, and I think Jordan Love, has potential. But unfortunately, I'm going to pick the under at 7.5. Next up, we have the Detroit Lions at 9.5 over under. The one thing I absolutely love with the Lions is they had 4 picks in the top 50 first picks in the NFL draft this year. That's potentially 4 starters, and that's really impressive. The Lions' schedule isn't too bad. I like their head coach. The biggest limiting factor for them is actually just 2 things. Jared Goff, and if he can keep up that success that he had last year, and then not gambling, because they're losing too many players to gambling suspensions. But I'm going to pick the over with the Detroit Lions. The next up, we have the Chicago Bears at 7.5. Now, Chicago put a lot of pieces together to try to help Justin Fields. And I think they've made a lot of improvements, and I think they have set up for this year and next year to do better, especially with the draft capital that they were able to take in, especially getting DJ Moore from Carolina with that trade, which I thought really benefited the Bears a lot. I think that's definitely going to help them. I think that they're going to vastly improve on the record of last year. But unfortunately, I don't know if it's going to be quite enough. I wouldn't be surprised if they hit the over on this. But I am going to pick the under just because we got to see how Justin Fields does. He was able to put up great stats, and he was so fun to watch. I mean, I can't wait to watch him this year. But is that going to translate into wins, which is like the biggest thing? And they're working on their defense. They're trying to improve it, and if they get that defense together, I think they could do it, but I'm going to pick the under as of right now. The last team we have is the Minnesota Vikings, and if you saw my other video, you know I'm not picking the Vikings to get to the playoffs this year. My biggest concern with the Minnesota Vikings is that last year they had 11 games where it was just a 1-score game win, which that's too close, and it's not always going to go that way in the NFL. So I think it's going to trend downward this year for that kind of like 50-50. Can they win the game or lose the game? Unfortunately, the Minnesota Vikings have the toughest schedule in the division, mainly because they won it last year, so they're going to face all the better teams. So I'm going to be picking the under for the Minnesota Vikings this year. But what do you guys think the over-under are going to be for these teams? Let me know in the comments down below. If you guys can, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next huddle. Ready, break!